What are you doing? We have to start the show. Why are you playing with cars?
Cars are so much fun. I mean, it seems like every kid grows up playing with cars. We're surrounded by them. They're everywhere. But as investors, and especially us disruptive investors, we have to put aside our biases and look for disruptions that may be happening outside of what we see every day.
So are you talking about what I think you're talking about?
If you're talking about electric boats, and specifically flying boats, then yes.
Is there sugar and syrup?
Yes.
Then yes.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse. And today on Disruptive Investing, we're going to be talking about how these flying boats could disrupt the global boat transportation market.
Okay, so first off, the global boat transportation market is huge, and it's kind of hard to define, mainly because there's so many kinds of boats. You got your small pleasure watercraft, your ferries, your cruise liners, I could go on, but overall, it's estimated to be a $42 billion market as of today, and expected to grow to $59 billion by 2030.
The problem with existing boat transportation is that it's largely powered by these enormous, stinky, loud, expensive diesel engines.
Yeah, costly to purchase, maintain, and fuel.
Another problem is that water is thicker than air, so pushing all that mass through the water takes a lot of energy.
What if you could solve all those problems at once?
We spoke with the founder and CEO of Candela, a Swedish electric boat company, like a year ago?
Yeah, we interviewed Gustav Hasselskog right here on Disruptive Investing because they are making electric boats that fly out of the water on hydrofoils.
And last week, Candela announced the successful test of something that we talked with Gustav about last year, the P12, their flying electric ferry boat.
And while I think that electric flying pleasure craft is disruptive, I think by Candela now adding ferries to their portfolio, they are expanding into an even bigger market, and I think we as investors need to be aware of this disruptive technology.
Okay, so how much energy can you save by lifting the boat out of the water on hydrofoils?
Candela says 80%.
Wow, so 80% less energy needed, and that's what really helps with the electric powertrain, because now you need way less batteries to go the same distance as a regular hulled boat.
Right. And less batteries means less weight, which further helps all the equations work in your favor.
Exactly. So the P12 uses the same patented hydrofoil technology as Candela's smaller boats, like the C8.
And if you're like, patented hydrofoils, hang on, hydrofoils have been around forever. These aren't your grandparents' simple hydrofoils.
Candela's hydrofoils are full of technology because they are constantly adjusting to the conditions.
And when we say constantly, we mean Candela's sensors are taking readings at 300 times per second and making micro adjustments to the planes to keep the boat moving steadily through the water.
Not to mention that Candela developed their own new electric C-Pod motors that never require maintenance.
Yeah, I want to talk about that point. If you're a mariner, then you know that boat engines constantly need expensive maintenance because they're operating in extreme environments with water, usually salt water.
Many engines need maintenance every 50 to 100 hours of operating time.
But Candela's C-Pod motors on the C8 and now the P12 are sealed permanent magnet motors with parts that move but don't wear against each other like typical internal combustion engines that are exploding air and fuel hundreds if not thousands of times per minute.
All right, so back to Candela's P12 electric flying ferry.
Okay, so it seats 30 passengers. It has a range of up to 100 kilometers or 62 miles from its 252 kilowatt hour battery, and it can recharge quickly using DC fast charging.
One very important stat is that you ferry captains watching will want to know about is what's called turnaround time.
Ferries are constantly pulling into and out of port to pick up and drop off passengers, and so the less time you spend in turnaround time, the better.
The P12 is really efficient with turnaround time. In fact, they said that they can do it in under 2 minutes per ferry stop, and that's thanks to their thrust vectoring of Candela's pair of C-Pod motors.
Those C-Pod motors have a combined peak power of 340 kilowatts or 456 horsepower, and because they're thrust vectored, they have really nimble maneuvering, so the boat can even move sideways when necessary.
So try and do that with a typical ferry. So what's the cost of the P12?
Candela says they're now entering serial production and that they'll be selling it for 1.7 million euro. And that's pretty much in line with the current cost of combustion engine powered ferries today. But I do want to point out, it's actually significantly less than competing electric ferries, according to Candela.
But what's more important, I think, are the operating expenses.
Yeah, according to Candela, P12 is engineered to offer similar or lower initial investment costs for operators while boosting profits compared to ICE vessels.
They claim that they're expected to cut operator costs per passenger kilometer by around 50%.
Candella's director for commercial vessels, Eric Eklund, explained, with the P12, we're not just offering a faster, more comfortable electric alternative to fossil fuel powered vessels. We enable operators to make the switch to sustainable vessels that are cost effective and profitable, a crucial step towards clean oceans and lakes. All right, so there are two other big reasons why Candella's technology is disruptive. The first is wakes.
If you've done any boating at all, you know that the faster a boat goes, the bigger the wake that it makes. In fact, it's not necessarily the boating that you've done, it's maybe the canoeing, the paddleboarding,
Or the swimming.
that you've done.
And if you're in the middle of the ocean or by yourself on a jet ski at a beach somewhere, no big deal. But as soon as other boats are around you or people, it affects them. And that's why in many harbors, there are speed limits.
Candella's boats lift out of the water, so they really have no wake, which means that they can travel at faster speeds in a harbor, which means, ipso facto, their passengers are going to get to their destination faster.
So happier customers, which are willing to pay more to get where they're going quicker, and more trips per day, which means more revenue for the ferry operator.
And because the boats are lifted out of the water, the ride is super smooth. So again, happier customers who are willing to pay more for a Candela ferry versus the competitors' smelly, loud, slow, rocky diesel ferry. And what's also cool is that Candela is offering the P12 with 3 different variants. So there's the P12 Shuttle, that's this one.
There's the P12 Business, this one here. It's almost like a luxury jet.
And the P12 Voyager, which is a super comfortable ferry setup.
I think that's really smart. It means that they can appeal to 3 different markets within the ferry market.
And I urge you guys to go watch our interview with Gustav.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to get into the nitty-gritty of hydrofoils, the motors, and how he founded the business. And if you love this cross-section between investing, companies, and disruptive technologies like we do, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of our content.
And if you would consider hitting the like button, we would really appreciate it.
And if you want to take your investing to the next level, then consider joining us on our Patreon.
We offer a lot of perks there, including our Investor Club, where you get exclusive live streams with company founders and CEOs.
We have our exclusive Investor Club Slack, and every week you get to watch our Investor Club bonus stories.
We hope we'll see you there.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody.
We'll see you next week on Disruptive Investing.